guys, welcome to No Items, episode 4. This week we're going to be talking about tournament conditions and their effect on play.
Yeah.
This is Artie.
This is M2.
We have no guest this week, unfortunately.
Ooh.
We're going to do our best to get a guest for next week. And it's going to be... That week I think is going to be interesting because we have a subject we're probably going to be talking about that's going to be super interesting.
Fun. Very fun.
Super fun.
I definitely agree with that. Yeah. So let's get into it. Tournament conditions and their effect on how people play the game. And do we want to talk about how this affects Smash 4 generally or specifically or just fighting games in general? Because I feel like there'd be...
It's pretty similar across the board.
Right?
There's some like very specific... there's some specific situations for Smash 4. But
yeah.
There's, it's a pretty wide...
Mm-hmm.
Group of games that are affected by the same things. And so the kind of definition, I suppose, of this subject would be like, you want to like the temperature of the room, right?
Mm-hmm.
The things that can be used for Johns generally can be considered tournament conditions.
I thought that was like a figurative thing you were going for. You meant the literal temperature of the room.
I meant literally the temperature of the room. And so tournament conditions generally can be used as Johns, right?
Oh yeah,
but there are times when they are legitimately problems.
Yeah, and distinguishing between the two is definitely very important. You definitely have those people who tend to go for the quick John, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's almost like the boy who cried wolf like situation.
Yeah.
Where like a lot of the time it really isn't that big of a deal, and they're just saying things, and we all know that they lost because they lost, and they're not as good, right? But then there's times where there's a legitimate problem, but since they talk too much, since they John too much prior, no one really cares. And even if they know, they're going to be like, whatever, man, you would have lost anyway, would have come up with some other excuse anyway, right? And so distinguishing between the two is still very important. Yeah, for example, like you were saying, the temperature of the room can be very problematic.
I remember
on a serious note.
On a serious note,
yeah.
But you could consider this podcast to be the beginner's guide to a list of Johns.
Yeah,
but it could also be considered like things to take into account when you're looking for a venue or when you're at a tournament, mm-hmm. and how you can adapt to the changing environment that sometimes is at a tournament venue. Yeah,
and like you're saying, like it's a mixture of controllable and uncontrollable factors. Like it's good. Like there's times when like maybe let's say the heater's not working in the venue or whatever, and it's December. Like you're just gonna have to deal with it.
And it's gonna be cold.
It's gonna be cold.
Buy some hand warmers.
And the thing exactly. And the thing
I've got hand warmers in the car, by the way.
Yeah, it just already comes prepared. That's how we go, dude.
Well, I'm just saying, like.
We are in Portland, not super cold, but like not warm either,
Pacific Northwest Smash / FGC.
Yeah, and the farther north you go, the more
north you go, the more hand warmers
you're gonna need for free.
Mm-hmm. You can buy hand warmers for like 20 cents.
Oh, really?
They're cheap.
Oh, wow. Yeah, dude, I saw, on a side note, a guy at Dome Park. I think I told you this before, but
he had like a electrical.
Yeah, electrical one. And he said it was $20. He got it like off of Amazon or something. But it's reusable. It's always just look. It's like this silver, almost looks like an alcohol flask, almost. But like, because then you like hold it, it's like weird. Like it's good for like how you hold it with your hands, right? It fits. And I actually, Esam and I both saw that at the same time. We're like, well, what is this? We're like talking. We're like, what is this, man? Because Esam apparently, for how much he travels, had not seen such a contraption. So I was surprised about that.
Dang.
But he said he had to get himself one of those, so maybe he has it now. I mean, Dome Park was December of, 2016?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Anyway, Aiden. Anyway. No wink, hint. Anyway, but yeah, going back to the tournament conditions and whatnot, like, like I was saying, there are a lot of controllable and uncontrollable factors, and it's up to the player to realize what's going on and understand how much it affects everyone. For example, like with the example I just gave about it being cold, the heater's broken in a venue in December, everyone's going to be freezing It's not just you. It's not just me. It's everyone is gonna be dealing with that. And then people can go hella deep. They can major in Johnology and be like, well, I main Sheik and that character is super
so much
technical. I have
movement.
to throw more buttons than you.
And so my hands are cold. It affects me more.
Yeah, and you're playing Mick Bowser, so it's like that.
Yeah.
What's Mick Bowser? You're playing Bowser. Mick Bowser. Anyway, and all you gotta do is just go for the Koopa, man. Like,
Booze Cruise.
yeah, just take 60% while I hit you inefficiently, and then hit you, and then you hit me a couple times, and then I'm in Koopa percent. Then you just spam grab, and eventually it'll work, right?
That's the John.
Yeah. If first you don't succeed, try pivoting and do it again.
Yeah,
Like,
pivot grab.
Yeah.
Scoop. Yeah, and
Double the range guaranteed. Anyway, so yeah, like that's. Anyway, go ahead.
I don't want this whole conversation to just be like a list of Johns,
Of course not.
because it totally could be.
But that's something we have to talk about, like
But-
in this for sure.
before we actually get into the actual conversation, it's important that we disassociate Johns, because
True.
it would otherwise be the main topic.
So-
Tournament conditions are a real thing that actually does affect play for most players, and it is. I feel like it's the most common John.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
you have to understand that this conversation is not validating Johns.
It is not.
All it is discussing the real impact of actual tournament conditions on real players.
Yeah.
So with that kind of like disclaimer out the way,
Yeah.
now we can kind of really get into it. So
Yeah.
tournament conditions for like locals and stuff, a lot less controlled generally,
Yeah.
but also less like important, and like
Yeah, because it's a weekly that you can
it's
just come
like a
back to
weekly
again.
and just do whatever. Yeah, and generally like it's in like a small store, and so the only time like for small venues the biggest problem probably is overheating.
Yeah.
Pack too many people in the same area.
Yeah.
And this happens for like regionals and majors even too. Oh my gosh, Emerald City is the worst I've experienced.
Yeah.
Like Emerald City is a great tournament. I enjoyed it.
In terms of the conditions.
But in terms of specifically overheating in that room.
Yeah, and they did improve from last time too. Actually, it was.
Man, did they?
Yeah, because of the way the things were spaced out. There was a lot less room for Smash 4 in Emerald City 5.
Right.
And that just added to the heat problem. So, because everyone was just kind of bundled together. But it was a great tournament. Don't get us wrong. But that's just like a situation that is applicable to what we're talking about. So, yeah.
Yeah, but when the room gets overheated, especially during the summer, it's like unbearable sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, this is the worst of all. One thing that was really interesting that I didn't really notice until I went to Evo was that the difference between outside weather and like inside climate, I suppose, can be like really jarring.
Oh yeah.
Right, so Las Vegas is where Evo is held, and it happens in the summer. So it's very hot. It's generally like 100 degrees or more.
It was 106 when we were there.
Yeah, and so yeah, you're out in that, and then you enter Mandalay Bay or anywhere actually.
Any building.
Yeah, in Las Vegas, and it's
Any
air conditioned.
decent building. Yeah.
And it's air conditioned so much to the point where it's like 60.
Yeah.
And you enter the building and you're like, okay, well, now I'm just going to be cold for the rest of my life, I guess.
And then you get out.
And then, yeah.
And you go back into the oven.
Yeah, and then you like,
outside.
all right, well, let's get some lunch. Go outside. Never mind. Let's get lunch inside the hotel.
Yo, this Black Pantry looking really good right now.
Real good.
Just going to sleep here now. Just live here. Cashier won't notice.
Up to the point where I did not pack a sweatshirt to go to Evo.
I don't know if I remember if I did or not.
You had your CLG.
Oh, yeah. Rest in peace, me. I'm pretty sure I wore it, like, when I was inside.
When you were inside.
Yeah.
But I didn't bring a sweatshirt because I was like, nah, it's Las Vegas in the summer. Well, that was an idiotic thing to do because it was very cold inside the whole time, and I had to buy a sweatshirt, which I'm wearing now. It's a great sweatshirt. But the thing is, like, you have to kind of like understand the environment you're going into. Is the end of that subject is the tournament conditions in terms of like heat is you have to expect it to change because with all the TVs and video games and human beings like
for a
radiating
long
heat
amount of time
over the course of an entire day, that venue's going to heat up. Or in the case of Las Vegas, it's going to be hot as freaking heck outside, and you're going to need to understand that they're going to air condition the inside, and we were not prepared for that. So, lesson 1: adapt to the temperature and expect temperature change. You got to bring that sweatshirt. You got to bring the t-shirt underneath.
Understand that you can't control the temperature at a given point, nor the dynamic of it, because it is almost always going to change. If it doesn't change, then hey, like you were saying, you don't have to change into a different outfit, you know? Like,
it's just a thing.
Yeah, be prepared. Just like Smash, be prepared to adapt.
Like Smash. Just
IRL.
Like Smash, exactly. You gotta adapt.
You gotta adapt. You gotta be prepared to adapt. You gotta have the resources. You gotta understand your toolkit, aka the sweatshirt game or the t-shirt game.
Low tier players don't even have a sweatshirt option.
Or if you're going to like Minnesota, the jacket game, like the snowshoes game. I'm just kidding. I'm going a little too far, but hey, you never know, man. Hey, Tyler went to Alaska.
When you're in the Yukon tournaments, you gotta have your dog sled with you. You gotta have, you gotta be able to travel.
Bro, if I had I'd do doubles with my dog.
Well, if you have like a dog sled, you're gonna have like 12 dogs.
I'm gonna pick the best dog. They're gonna do like a little mini tournament. It's like a Wi-Fi thing. You know what I'm saying, man? Like they're gonna duke it out.
They're just gonna duke it out.
Yeah,
they're gonna fight for the right to team with you.
Yeah, bro, they're all gonna main Sheik because they all call them my canines. Hey, I'm dumb. I'm sorry. Call them canine because they play Sheik. I'm just kidding. I taught him well. Anyway. And then I woke up.
and then he woke up.
Yeah. About to go to like Hyrule Saga and kill it.
Alright, lesson 2. Get earbuds or headphones.
Oh yeah. And this one definitely like this one is very applicable to me. As far as the temperature thing, like we were talking about, like I've been okay about adapting to that. Like it's whatever. Like I just warm up or whatever. If my hands are cold, it's like I blame myself. And then even with the headphone game, I blame myself, but it's more applicable. There are times where it's harder to focus because the crowd can get rowdy. And honestly, Oregon is not that rowdy compared to other places. Like, have you heard of Florida?
If anything, Oregon is really sensitive to rowdiness. They're sensitive,
yeah. But even still, like, there's little rowdy.
I wish it wasn't like that. I love...
Low-key, I'm becoming more like what... Yeah,
I love shouting at
the
people. The
spirit of it all is dope, dude, yeah.
For me, it's like if you're in a major or like a regional and you're playing an important match, I'm not going to shout at you. But if it's like a regional and I see someone and be like, damn.
Yeah, not to go too off topic, but it's like with boxing, like imagine if like...
Imagine everyone was just like really quiet and polite.
Or like the boxer's just like, stop it. Like,
exactly.
Like, no, man, just be quiet. Let us
You're messing me up.
Bro.
You're messing me.
I'm sorry. But like, I can understand when people say that.
There's some people that are...
And I can understand the feeling of that too and how it can mess with me mentally. But that's part of rising to being good, right? And then, so you have choices here. So you can either just not wear headphones and deal with it and get good and not care about people, but if you and being understanding yourself, self-awareness is super important in this as a player. If you can't, and you have to really be honest with one has to be honest with themselves. If they can't deal with the outside pressure without any like sort of assistance, they would use headphones and play music, play something soothing too, or something to hype you up, like self-awareness in this situation is super important in understanding how to adapt to tournament conditions. Because you can't control, like we were saying, the conditions, but you can control yourself through your self-awareness. And the better self-awareness you have, the more in control you'll have, and the smarter you will be in being able to adapt.
And obviously, there's a point where noise is like too much.
Yeah, that's when
Right.
people are screaming.
When people are like,
Shout outs to
if people are
Florida.
like up in your face, or if
Yeah,
people are, or maybe it's just like too loud in general, or maybe there's something happening not related to the venue, but like outside,
like interference, like honest interference.
and
yeah,
that's
yeah.
I get that. What I don't get is people that are like, if there's any noise at all, or if people in the background are talking.
Yeah, like nothing.
You
Like no
can't-
one's obliged.
You cannot
know?
expect anything.
Yeah, no
from
one's-
other people
yeah.
not engaged in your activity.
The crowd doesn't owe you anything. That's within the
reasonable,
legal, reasonable.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so part 2 of this is, if you're a tournament organizer or a stream runner, you need to get a Behringer 4 out, and you need to get an audio splitter so that your game, your TV setup has game audio.
Already with the knowledge.
Especially on the stream sounds, but generally, if you can, you want it on every setup so that people have the option to listen to the game, because there are audio cues in the game that are very important.
Cheeks bouncing fish.
Sheik's Bouncing Fish is like, I think that's
That's one of
the
them.
that's the example, but you can also do that tech chase stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's audio only, and you can get busted tech chasing. I'm actually gonna start working on that.
It's really good.
Because Lucario is good with that.
I can see
But what I'm trying to say is, this isn't 100% up to the player. Sometimes the player, their headphones break and there's no game audio available and everything sucks.
Oh, anyway, if Luxray, if you're listening to this, I do pay attention to your Twitter, and this is a little off topic, but it's not. His headphones broke like a day or 2 ago or something like that, and he's just like, I need to find headphones like less than $40. Someone help.
sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks.
So
Less than $40?
he just needs earbuds, not headphones. Earbuds. His earbuds broke. There is a distinct difference, and I feel ashamed for not catching that.
No, that's important. That's important.
It's very important. People, dude, that's actually one of my biggest pet peeves. I make music, and so like,
Yeah.
when someone distincts between earbuds and headphones, and they're just like,
No,
"Man,
wrong.
I need some. You got any headphones, man?" And then I'm like, "No," and then I have like earbuds, and he's like, "What about those?" I'm like, "What? These aren't headphones. Hello,
Hello?
get with the program." Anyway, I'm off topic a little bit, but
You have to buy new headphones. Wow, I just did it. I need to buy new earbuds all the time. I didn't mean it. I
thought you knew better, man.
But because I work at UPS, and since that job is like super physical, I'm doing like workout. I'm not like doing a workout all the time, but
You're
moving.
You're paced. Yeah.
And I'm lifting
Fast-paced.
heavy shit. That's like the most important
Yeah.
part. And I've crushed headphones.
Oh no.
They've got caught.
Like bigger headphones.
Oh my god.
You did it again, over 2, bro. Drop in these combos, please. You know better, Artie.
Earbuds.
You're just some simpleton.
Earbuds.
I don't care. Like I do care, I guess I was saying, but it's just like,
Earbuds.
I'll let it slide.
Well, specifically, I don't use headphones.
Yo, how do those earbuds fit you right now, huh? He's wearing headphones, by the way.
I'm wearing really nice headphones.
They're actually really nice. Man.
Yeah, that's actually weird. I'm thoroughly unaware, apparently, of the difference.
Yeah, apparently.
Like when I'm speaking, but like on the other side, I own like 8 pairs of headphones.
Are they headphones?
Yes.
Okay. I lost a little bit of trust there, so just playing now. I'm playing, but yeah. Anyway,
Okay, the point is, I've broken a lot of earbuds at work because the line between my pocket and like my ears, where the cord is, gets caught on something sometimes.
Yeah.
And they'll like drag it out in front of me, and then I'll like be moving a box that's heavy, so I can't like just put it down, right? And so I'm moving this box, and it crushes my earphones.
Earphones
Is what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
That's like what my mouth was saying. Earbuds. I crushed my earbuds on the dock, basically, which is like, this is just like metal grate that's like eye level.
Oh no. So it's just over.
It's just over. I've broken like 5 or 6.
Oh my gosh. Are these like Apple earbuds? Pretty much.
They're like $23-$25 Skull Candy.
Okay, are they like the one with like the
Let me.
the ones with like the never mind, you just threw one. Yep, exactly. The ones, I don't know what to call these, like the springy rubber.
They work for me. They actually
Yeah.
they fit my ears pretty good.
I've
The
never had
real
them.
reason I get them is because they have this little clip which helps them to not get dragged off. Because I have one in my ear and then I have one not. And during the summer, in the winter, I can put these in like a shirt pocket. But in the summer, I clip it to the top of my shirt.
Yeah, the clip is nice. That looks really cool.
Yeah. That's the only reason I buy these. Like, I have no, like, specific love for Skull Candy or, like, any other brands.
Team Solid sponsored by Skull Candy. Just kidding.
Got it.
Remember that time? Last off-topic thing. Remember that one time,
I don't think
like...
so.
You're probably right. Remember that one time where... last deliberate off-topic. The one time where, like... a bunch of the people, the guys who used to go to, like, your tournaments came in with, like, Skull Candy headphones. The exact same model. The Hesh 2s. Remember that? Eric had one. Not Eric.
I remember that.
I had one.
No, I
Zoom
remember
had
that
one,
now. I remember that
Karma
now.
had one. Chan had one.
It's like all of our entire group.
Nate was thinking about getting one.
Yeah.
I don't know if he did get one. I don't know. Anyway, that was hilarious. And we were all joking about eventually being sponsored by Skull Candy. Little did we know we would start this. But anyway, among
Little
other
did
things.
we know.
Little did
Man, that
we
was
know.
back when Nate was hanging out. All right. Little did we know.
Yeah, back when Nate was the second best player in our friend group.
Oh, man. No, no.
Not anymore, Nate.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Anyway. Hope he listens to this.
I'm laughing.
And I hope it fires him up. Anyway.
I feel like
You're not even the best Pikachu I know, Nate. I'm just I mean, I think Ice has you there. But anyway. Nate. Show up more. But anyway, all right.
Anyway, no, but Nate, though.
Truly getting back on topic now about the tournament conditions. So with the headphone thing,
Yeah, the headphone thing.
it's very important to understand yourself, as I was saying, with the whole self-awareness. If you need them, get them. Like, find a way to get them. That is within typically, okay, like, you don't have to get like these Beats, or like Beats are overrated, by the way, but you don't have to get these super expensive headphones or whatnot. You just need something to help you focus.
The main thing is something that, covers your ears and projects sound.
Yeah,
That's generally like the main thing.
Yeah. Good enough so that it can block out noise well enough.
Yeah.
For the very minimum need of maybe white noise, or for something where you have like a song that you like that like gets you focused, gets you zoned in. You don't want to get too focused on the song, however, or else you're gonna like.
And specifically for Smash, though, sometimes like a song's BPM or whatever matches up to a character's input.
Yeah.
And that can be really helpful. I'm not sure what... There are effects, there are beats that you can use in other games, but Smash specifically has like consistent use of rhythm.
There's
input.
rhythm, that's consistent within it. Obviously varies from character to character, but it follows this kind of law.
Lucario's is, I think, like 170.
Fox's is like 220, something like that, and then Sheik's is like almost 220, but it's like a little bit less, just a little bit. Actually, one thing to mention, I like to call this M2 tip.
M2 tip of the day.
M2 tip of, I don't want to say of the day. That's gonna
the week.
Now I'm gonna maybe. All right, as M2 tip of the whenever he feels like it and is inspired to share. All right,
of the podcast.
Of the podcast, yeah. One thing that I did to get better at foxtrotting, and this kind of just hit me. Like, as I said before, I produce music, just self-taught, and I was looking at I had like Smash on. I don't know how like I combined the two, but I had like Smash on training mode or whatever on, and I was also trying to like brainstorm and come up with like a concept idea for a song or whatever, instrumental. And I was looking at the BPM part of the interface, and I was like, wait a minute. And then how did I do this? Like, I went into my software and then like figured out what the BPM for Fox was on his Foxtrot. And I was like, okay. It was like around 220, as I said before. And so then I went online, I went on Google, searched songs with 220 beats per minute.
Yep.
And I found a couple songs that I would never really listen to, but they were really cool, actually. I never would have found them. And I just put that on and listened to it while I was trying to foxtrot, and oh my goodness, like it worked. And so then it got to the point where I didn't even need the song, and I was just kind of humming it.
You were just doing it,
just in my head, and then I was just getting it. And then it got to the point now where I don't have to think about it.
Well, here's Artie's tip of the podcast.
Let's go.
If you want to find the BPM for your character, you can look up Find BPM on the internet, on Google, and there is one of the first options is a thing where you press space every time you do a foxtrot.
Oh, so it's like the tapping thing. Okay, got you.
And you can just do that for as long as you can. The longer you do it, the more accurate it is to the BPM. And then what you can do then is in your music library, if you open it up in foobar, there's a independent extension that you could find that sorts songs by BPM.
What is foobar?
Foobar is a music player.
Okay.
It's like a open source, I think.
Okay.
Music player.
You can just install that.
Yeah, it's really nice actually. Foobar is really nice. You should check it out actually.
No problem. Yeet.
It has a lot of extensions that you can add.
That's dope.
Right, that have a bunch of different uses.
Yeah.
And one of them is finding BPM of songs. It doesn't come pre-installed. You have to find it and install it yourself. But
cool. All free.
Once you do though, it's all free. Yeah. Very cheap. The cheapest.
The cheapest you can get.
Yeah.
Unless you pay me.
And that's anyway. That's how I found Lucario's BPM. I'm sure most characters' BPM has been found and put somewhere.
Yeah, it's not really been publicized well enough, apparently. That or we're just not looking hard. I feel like
some players have foxtrots that are just so easy that you don't even need to know.
You don't like the Falcon, Mac, Cloud
has the easiest.
I think Falcon has the easiest. You literally just have to like you don't even have to think like at all. Cloud you have to think like a tad bit, but then it's easy to get used to. Like super
I find
easy.
Falcon harder. Maybe it's just
preference. Really like I don't know. Yeah, you literally just like mash the foxtrot like animation. Like think of it that way. Like you just mash it. It'll just work. Also DK too. No one talks about that. His foxtrot's super simple. To just extend dash dance. So like, what's the term when they just keep going, but they're like perfectly? Is that just foxtrotting? When they're just going in one direction, and then the dash dancing is like when you're.
Because foxtrot is just dashing, but you don't have any of the wind down at the end.
Yeah.
And that's exactly. Foxtrotting is just running across stage.
DK is so simple. You just mash it. You just mash it. Yeah. I'm not like DK Falcon. Marth is a little bit harder, like, but it's so it's easy overall in perspective to everyone else. Little Max is easy, so. And then you get Sheik. Sheik was actually for me the hardest one to do. Fox's was not as hard. Fox's is easier than Sheik's, but Sheik has this weird, like her margin for error on the foxtrots are so slim.
Okay, so we're at -1 going off topic now.
Yeet. Anyway, so we were talking about the headphones.
Yeah, I think that kind of wraps it up, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, headphones are important. You should have your headphones with you, and you should have your music selection / splitter / gamepad.
Yeah.
Like, you can listen to the game audio, and there are ways to do it. And
do we want to talk about, like,
petition your TOs to bring
headphones and splitters and stuff to be prepared for people who need that kind of thing. And that is definitely not a handicap. It's just honestly I would even say like a right.
Genesis 5 and Evo did a good job of this. They know about this problem.
Yeah.
These bigger tournaments. Obviously this is hard
to be.
This is hard for like locals and regionals to do, but the majors, if you don't have headphones available and game audio available, you're doing that
very wrong. Yeah. And both Evo and Genesis killed it, and those are the major tournaments we've been to only so far. So
yeah,
that's been what we've seen. So good job to them. Anyway, lastly on the headphone thing, I think talking about the kind of music someone listens to is important, not just for the sake of, not really for preference sake. I don't care about people's preference in music, but for how it affects them, because music, different kinds of like music is going to affect how people, react emotionally, mentally. And so there's like the things are too calm on this type of like song or whatever, and you're not focused, right? And then there's this is so hype, it's too hype, and I can't think, and I'm just literally going off of pure emotion, and and then something, and then and this is mostly, I think, for like mid-level players, honestly, because I feel like top-level players, they know the game so well, and they're so situationally aware of the game. It really doesn't matter to them. It just becomes a preference thing. Like, they're so integrated in the game, and they're so knowledgeable of it that they just know, But it doesn't matter too much. But like for those who are like kind of mid-level, trying to reach that echelon of skill, that idea of finding something that like hypes you but still centers you down is important. So
yeah. One last note: make sure that you have a playlist that does not come up with the wrong song in the middle of the set because
or ads. Oh my god, I've gotten hit with that.
I've got hit by that before.
Yo, SoundCloud, why'd you do this to me, man?
I've had a scenario where I had like the right music at the right time, and then it ends, and what follows is
I'm a Barbie girl.
yeah, literally the worst possible thing at that moment, you know?
Yeah. My ding dongs are made out of plastic. Koopa everywhere. Anyway.
Dang.
Yeah. Anyway, moving away from the headphone thing. So I mean, those are two really
important. So there's temperature, there's headphones. But now,
you go ahead.
Go for it.
Go ahead. No, just go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
It's fine.
Now I think we need to talk about like the ultimate killer.
It
and
might
that
be the
is,
same thing.
Like location of food.
Okay, I was
near
gonna say that, but
the venue.
yeah,
Because this is something that I am personally bad at.
yeah,
And if I do not have adequate nutrition, I do not function as a human being.
that's true. I mean, like taking care of one's health in terms of diet is very important to tournament play. I also advocate working out, or if you have a job like you have, like that pretty much requires that you get a workout. That's fine too.
But like specifically, yeah, health is important. But food is something that you need to do during a day. And if you're at a tournament for an entire day, there's going to be a requirement for food there.
That is true.
And I have been to tournaments where food is not close.
Hit them up with the Dairy Queen though. That healthy option. Whew. Can I get me a bacon cheeseburger and a dropped combo?
Like even if it's just something like that. Though.
I don't think you heard what I just said.
Bacon cheeseburger
And a dropped combo. Oh, rip me, man.
I've had a couple experiences with this.
Yeah.
One experience was at Fight or Flight 9. I ate a burrito.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a stomach ache the whole tournament.
It 2-0'd you? Okay.
Now, that tournament, I did fine, but I was doing fine through a stomach ache, you know? And it just felt bad.
That sucks. I can relate to that somehow. It's like in a way, with my story with Evo day 2, and I don't think this was really just the food. I think it was the food and the heat. We went to a Denny's, and I could have been getting sick or something. I don't know if I was. I don't know what the whole thing. Maybe just me not my body
was
not
just
being
like too much sensory
input, stimuli or whatever. Yeah, and my body's like, "What? Calm down, buddy. Calm down." You know,
I'm gonna take a break even if you can't.
Yeah, exactly. Day 2 Evo. I don't care, bro. I'm not trying to die. So I had Denny's day 1, and I had a stomach ache. But it wasn't like terrible. And actually, no, it was terrible. Pause. It was terrible. But I had 12 p.m. pools day 1 and so by the time that happened, I was fine. Like my body had gotten used to it. I get out of pools, and then day 2, we go to Denny's again. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I hope this doesn't happen again. Like, I'm like, okay, come on, body, like, get this thing here. Like, it's like eggs, and it's not even like Denny's isn't healthy, but like, it's simple, man. Yeah. And so, the thing was though, we walked, I think, from the Denny's.
Yeah.
That bodied me.
To get to the venue, when we were at Evo, we did not stay at the Mandalay Bay Hotel. We stayed at a Days Inn
nearby.
That was pretty close, but it was like a mile away.
It was close, but the thing was, okay, what made it annoying was the fact that the roads were so convoluted to get there. Like, it wasn't a straight shot. Yeah. If it was a straight shot, to get there, quick.
So to get there, we had to cross the freeway.
Yeah.
And what that entailed was we had to walk all the way down to a bridge and then go over and then go inside
Yeah. And so we walked for like 20 minutes, man. And in over 100-degree weather. Maybe at that point it was really early. Okay,
it was 100 degrees.
It was like 100, man. It was like also like this thick. It's like dry, but it felt thick. Like felt like there was a weight on us.
We bought like two liters each of water.
Yeah,
by the time that walk was over, I was almost done with the first liter,
dude.
And then like the whole rest of the day, I like drank only a quarter because I was inside. It was like
it was cold.
It was cold,
but I was dying. Like, I had a really bad stomach ache. and slash just abdomen pain. And I was like keeled over. Like,
and she was legit dead.
It was so bad. And then I had pools at 10 a.m. for day 2. And so I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like basically like wobbling over to, no ice climber sponge. Just literally just hop. I'm not going to say wobble. I'm literally limping over to the venue, to the station where I have my pools. And I did well against some Captain Falcon. That's PR'd apparently in Hawaii, but whatever. Anyway, and then I lose, I believe, to like a Mac player, but by the entire those 2 sets, I was sweating in the cooled area because I was in so much it was it was bad. It was so bad, and I was really hard to concentrate. And so that's kind of an extreme situation where it doesn't really happen often. Like if someone gets sick, like you can't control that. You can't let that like be the a factor in your overall skill in a game. Because like if someone gets sick, that's like they got disabled. Like they're partially disabled. And so like it was just a bummer for me because I'm like, oh man, I might have gone farther because it was super hard to concentrate.
And so this is like a real ass effect on your tournament play.
Yeah, like it was just like this sucks. And I was hoping to get a break, but then the TO, the pool captain, not the TO, just said, you got to get right back in it, right? Because I was on the loser side, and there were a lot of loser sets to play, so it just put me right in. I was like, oh God. And so anyway, so yeah, health is very important, and having good choices is also important in deciding where to go to a venue. Like initially, Dojo's former venue, the Batcave Games, that was really a good spot in my opinion. There were a lot of good choices. There was McDonald's nearby, but there was like
sushi,
pizza, which is relatively healthy. Yeah,
Subway.
Yeah, there were.
There's a Red Robin and a Applebee's down the street.
Farther, yeah.
There was you could go.
There was a grocery. There's like a grocery, like a natural foods.
Yeah, there was
grocery.
It wasn't like a Whole Foods, but it was basically a Whole Foods.
A Whole Foods, area, but it was not Whole Foods. It was like Dave's, blah 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 blah.
It was like
Carl's or something
independent.
Like yeah, exactly, independently owned. So, like that's important, honestly.
Tons of options.
Granted, if it's like not everything is out of one's control. If you really just if a person doesn't really like any of the food options and the venue location isn't gonna go away anytime soon, then they can just pack something,
Yeah.
And I don't really see players do this.
So what I was gonna say is, even though this seems like it's just a tournament location thing, this is something that players can control.
Yeah.
So for example, I went to a Salem Smash Fest with you 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I was very hungry. So I didn't eat enough breakfast. And instead of going to get food and then like having like this like horrible situation where maybe I was going to be late for pools or whatever, or for bracket or whatever, I brought goldfish in the car.
Yeah, something.
And I just ate like a couple handfuls of goldfish, and I was like, there we go.
Yeah.
And like even though that's not nutrition, it like keeps you over.
I actually think that's better for tournament play, like in the middle of it, than eating like a meal. Because, and this is just my take on it, because little education, for a lot of the foods, there's varying levels of a neurotransmitter called serotonin that gets released in your brain whenever you eat like a meal. So like the bigger the meal, the more serotonin gets released in your brain, and that stuff basically just makes you super tired. So like if you've ever been when you're in Thanksgiving with your family and then you eat a ton of turkey and then you're just like feeling it's time to go to sleep for 5 years,
Yeah,
it's because of there's just a huge amount of serotonin flooding in your brain.
Or origin of the food coma.
Exactly, that's serotonin's fault. Blame serotonin. Arrest serotonin. Serotonin did everything wrong.
The enemy of tournament play.
Yeah. Anyway.
So lesson 3 is avoid serotonin.
So like you can, okay, I honestly like eating a good breakfast is good. Like if you have like a tournament that's like going all day, like having a good breakfast is good.
My plan for a big tournament is like eat either no breakfast or an enormous breakfast.
Yeah, and like early enough,
Yeah.
Like so by the time like the tournament's about to start, or you're warming up, like a lot of that stuff's digested and you have a lot of energy like already ready to go and stuff, and you feel good, right? And then throughout the day, eat small foods, in my opinion, like, right?
Yeah.
Like unless you're out of the tournament, you don't care or whatever, but like, or if you're in the tournament, you don't want to eat anything too huge, in my opinion, because you'll get tired, you'll kind of get out of focus. It'll be easier to get out of focus. So eat small things. Like honestly, the handful of goldfish is like it's good. No, that's
OP.
That's in the wise words of the great philosopher Mewtwo King, because it's optimal. So like it's a good idea in my opinion. Something like high in carbs or whatnot. I'm turning into, I sound like a nutritionist. I'm not really.
M2 is going to school for like
for
psychology.
not that. Yeah, not that.
Not that.
But I do focus on like health and stuff. So
It's important.
yeah, trying to get fit. But anyway, and so all of that is very important. You want to eat something that's light but can give you carbs, give you energy, quick energy, you know, and whatnot. So, and also really important that I actually don't see many people do, drink water, man.
Oh man, water.
Oh my goodness.
Drink that water.
That is the biggest killer. You could actually, I've done well in tournaments.
What's your tournament tool set? What is that?
Like my assist.
What's your assist?
It's bringing like a liter or a gallon of water.
Yep.
I pull a Rich Brown. I saw Rich Brown do that once at an MSM and then some other tournaments. I was like, you right? And I just got one myself. And no lie, that was the first time I ever got out of pools at Smash Nest. Was the first time I brought. So, okay, that could just be pure correlation, but honestly, I think it's not completely pure causation, but there's a little bit of, like there's at least a little bit, like, because the thing is, I know myself when it comes down to like I do well enough in the pool to get close to getting out every time, like at least way back then. I think now if Smash has happened, I get out for easily, but but then I would, like, it would be hard to focus. I would make sillier mistakes than I make, you know, typically, and things that I know better about, and then I would lose, and then I would get like whatever, like 25th, I think, stop 24th again, so I get 25th or whatever, and it'd be like, what? And so then I drink water and I'm feeling a lot better, and it's not like I'm just chugging water like at one point. I'm drinking water throughout the day.
Yeah.
And yeah, I do go to the bathroom a lot, obviously, because you drink. But that is definitely a small sacrifice to pay for feeling great throughout the entire day, you know? And so I was able to do that with ease and whatnot. And so you're giving yourself an honest chance when you take care of yourself as best as possible, right? Like you're getting rid of all of these little factors that can mess you up and frustrate you down the road.
Right.
So drink lots of water. That's super important. Honestly, there are tournaments, like there are like day tournaments, man, where I've literally, like, I had some breakfast maybe, or had some small thing. Like, I don't really recommend this for anyone, but then I didn't eat anything, and I just drank water throughout the entire day. Yep. I'd be starving by the time like it's evening or whatever, after doing really well, like compared to before, and then I'd be starving or whatever. Then I eat food. I don't really care after that. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend that, but eat light, you know?
We're gonna have like a little list of rules at the end of this video.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, like these aren't like the 10 Commandments, you know, but like
I kind of want to make that list.
RD and M2's 10 Commandments of tournament conditions and I don't know, like of preparation, tournament prep.
So what was you had a thing you were gonna say, and then we kind of know you'd for a little bit.
Oh yeah. I like how you said that. And then know you'd. The next tournament condition kind of is related, but it's not food, but it's related to health, and that's sleep. You gotta get sleep. Yeah. Related to the John of I didn't get enough sleep, blah blah blah. Like, whose fault is that, fam? Like, whose fault? Like, if someone has insomnia, that's different, but you at the same time, one has to like truly see, like, I don't know how to put it, like, understand that limitation and what that means for your performance. Yeah. And not really use it as a means of blaming, right?
For like multi-day tournaments, getting sleep in between the days, that's a tournament condition, honestly.
That actually is, that's a strat that I've seen people do. I've seen Void do that. I've seen actually Void was not stereotype, but he was known for taking a lot of naps throughout the tournament. I've even seen Kakajin do that at Smash Nest. I'm sure other players do that.
Dude, he like disappears and then like he'll come back in time for his pools. It's
asterisk when Kakajin went to Smash Nest.
Yeah.
Asterisk when Smash Nest was a consistent thing.
Yeah, when Smash Nest was a tournament. You know, the last one was 5 months ago.
Oh my god. Well, I'm assuming like Jimmy's trying to bring that back, and I respect him for that.
Hopefully.
So
maybe.
Hopefully.
We'll see.
Yeah, like when Kakajin did go to Smash Nest, I would see him many times more than one tournament, like on like with his back against the wall, just sitting, in one of the corners or whatever, just taking a nap because he knows he doesn't have pools, or he knows he already got out early on, and he's just waiting, trusting that someone will wake him up. And someone's always waking up. So, that's important too. I mean, if you feel tired, take a nap. Granted, at a weekly, when it's like a 6-hour thing, you're not gonna have time. You could maybe, honestly. Also, like in regionals, I think it's easier to do that because there's a lot of space compared to a weekly, and so that gives you a lot more room, and there's a lot more time. So you get more time and more room to take a quick nap. Whereas, like at a weekly, like it would have been hard to take a nap at Bat Caves. There's so much stuff going on.
So much, yeah.
Like maybe you could like go to the very corner. Like there was like a chair, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean, maybe
like the very corner. But then the thing is, I don't know if people would like wake you up and they couldn't find you or whatever. Anyway, so, but just get some sleep, fam. That's basically it. Like, drink water, get some sleep, man. Like,
that's something.
Honestly, like 6 to 7 hours is the minimum in my opinion. 5 is where you're kind of pushing it. People can do okay still, but and you got to understand yourself. Back to that self-awareness, but 6 to 7 is minimum. 8 to me is optimal. 9 is optimal.
Yeah.
You don't want to sleep too much either, but won't be lethargic. But also,
are we missing anything? I mean, I'm sure we're missing some things, but like major things.
Yeah, there's some side things people could do, like working out and whatnot. Like that actually really helps.
Well, that might help tournament like experience, tournament play, but like what tournament conditions?
Yeah, for conditions.
So we talked about noise. We talked about temperature. We talked about food and sleep and water.
Controllers.
Sure.
Controllers.
Sure. So having the right controller obviously is very important, but that's not really what we're here for. What we're here for is if your controller breaks, do you have a backup?
Yeah.
Or
do you have a friend who's
willing
to let you borrow theirs, or if they have a backup?
Yep. And that's really like sometimes shit happens.
Yeah.
But
it does.
I don't know. That's tough because controller, that's like a money thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah, that is one of the harder things. However, I don't think it's one of the more common things either. So if it was more common, it would be a more pressing issue.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm glad that it's not too common. Honestly, I don't see TOs doing this doing this that much, and it'd probably be hard for weekly, but having extra controllers on deck, maybe? That could be like, if they have it in the budget to do that.
Well, definitely some locals I know have done that.
Have they done that? Yeah.
Well, Eric has like 3 extra controllers that he brought to dojo every week.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so it's extra controllers are super helpful.
Yeah. I know for me, my story with that is, I make it sound like it's a huge thing. My experience rather with that is
your book that you wrote.
My book, yeah, best-selling. I'm just kidding. No, I had a controller that was pretty good, and I was decent at perfect pivoting, even before, even when my neutral was completely garbo, and then I started getting better slowly, and I switched controllers because the one I had before broke or whatever. It broke, so I just got a new one, and got to the point where I slowly realized I wasn't perfect pivoting as much, and I was having trouble with it, and I just thought I was getting worse at that, and I was kind of getting frustrated at myself and pushing myself, I gotta get better at this, I gotta get this back. And then it dawned on me that my controller, the control stick, was getting looser, and I was like, wait a minute. And so I go back to a controller that I had before that was really bad overall, but the control stick was good. It was tight enough, right? That was one of the saving graces of the controller. And I was perfect pivoting across the entire stage. And I was like, it's not me, man. It's the controller, and in the most serious sense. And so I went and I got a good deal on a controller that was really nice. And I bought it, and I've been able now to incorporate perfect pivots into my combos. So just being self-aware about that situation, how good your controller is, what maybe the limitations of it are, I feel like that ties into tournament conditions, because it's your weapon, the controller is your weapon, and if your weapon has defects, or has certain problems to it, it's gonna affect your gameplay, varying with the characters. You know, like I play Fox and Sheik. Fox being pretty technical compared to the rest of the cast, and Sheik being very technical. So little things like that do make a difference, in my opinion, in terms of optimized gameplay. Like if I was playing DK or whatnot, it's not too big of a deal. I can just walk a little bit or whatever, right? But with Fox and Sheik, it kind of demands a little bit more technical play. And so just being self-aware and realizing that really helped me, and it actually really helped my performance overall. So like quickly, it was like a little quick boost. And so I was just like, oh yeah, and on a consistent level. So I was like, that's good.
Right.
So.
All right. So let's summarize this real quick.
Mm-hmm.
If we had to give 6 general pointers to improve tournament experience per player, what would they be?
What did we talk about first?
Well, we talked about temperature first.
Okay, so get an idea. So for tip 1, get an idea of how warm or cold or how fluctuating a temperature of a room or a venue is going to be, and bring clothes to adjust and adapt accordingly.
And if you don't know, just bring extra clothes.
Bring extra clothes, yeah. Like, have a backpack, man. You know, it's 2018, fam. And tip number 2, we talked about food. Was that when we went into food, or we talked?
Well,
I
think we talked about headphones.
The first. Headphones. Bring headphones
or earbuds.
Or earbuds. Thank you for the distinction. Yeet. Let's go. Or some form. Yeah, actually, it would honestly just be that for audio distraction. Just bring that if you feel like you need it, and if you don't know, bring it. You know, and judge it. Like, just play it safe in that situation. And then I'd say tip number 3 would be, for as far as food's concerned, you don't have to do a terrible amount of research on the location of your venue, but if you feel like it's going to be a problem in terms of finding good food spots, pack an extra lunch or pack something, you know, have a good breakfast, exercise as much control as you can in that situation.
Oh yeah, and
don't just be careless.
You can just, like, before you go to a tournament, you can just look it up on Google Maps where it is.
Yeah, like, honestly, like, as I said before, we in 2018, you right? Like, yeah, like, we all know how to use a phone. We all have Wi-Fi, I'm assuming, so it's like, we're just data. Like,
if you're playing Super Smash Brothers enough to go to tournaments outside your
region,
got
Wi-Fi, fam.
You've got Wi-Fi.
Yeah, like, so just do that. And yeah, and so tip number 4 would be, and I think, I don't know if 3 would go into this, but just stay hydrated.
That's like its own tip, I think.
Tip 4 would be stay hydrated. Like, that's like, the people drink Red Bull and stuff, and I like Red Bull, actually. It's an acquired taste, but I like it. And it's not necessarily bad if you drink that stuff in moderation, but don't make that be your primary drink. Oh my goodness. Like, that's gonna kill you, man. Like, like, not even just because of all the niacin.
I was cringing when Coney was, like, drinking all those Red Bulls.
When who?
Coney.
Oh yeah, I was, dude, at Genesis 5 Top, baby, dude, I was screaming, Dad, you're gonna regret that. Like, everyone was cheering, and I was screaming, you're gonna regret that, man. I mean,
like, I was sitting there dying, and I was like, don't want to be him,
bro. I was like, don't do this to yourself. He's gonna be jittery the entire time. I'm glad he was the MC and not a commentator, bro. He would have been like, and then Mr. A got it. Anyway,
and then there were people in the crowd that were like, drink another one,
bro. He would have been like going. Actually, he wouldn't have been like studying. He would have been going like 2,000 miles, and I'd be like, and then mistake one. Like, it'd be like, okay, can I get a 1? Can I get a 2? Can I get a 2 wish twist? Can I get a 3 wish twist? Can I get an afterburner? You know? Can I get a rage up? Oh my god! And he's dead. Sold. Anyway, sorry. So, like, just don't drink that stuff too much, and don't make it your primary drink. Like, what I do is,
it's helpful in moderation.
It can be really helpful in moderation. Yeah, for me, what I do, I drink 1 of those. Maybe 2 max throughout the day, not immediately, and I drink a bunch of water. Like, and if I don't, I failed myself. Yeah. And I understand what that could mean, you know?
Yeah.
And so just take care of yourself, stay hydrated, man. Like, just, come on, it's easy. Just, you don't have to bring a gallon, you don't have to pull a Rich Brown. You just get a water bottle, get Aquafina, just buy, like, something, man. Yeah.
Let's go for tip 5.
So 5 would have we were talking about sleep, or did we talk about something else?
I don't think we have to do them in order.
I mean, I'm just for the sake of just organizing. We're not doing it in order. Get some sleep. Just sleep, man. Just get some sleep. Figure out how to sleep better. Figure out what can help you fall asleep. Get a routine going. I think that really would help people. Having a routine will help train your body to say, okay, it's time to go unconscious and get some of those Z's. So they trying to you want to catch the Z's so they can catch your hands. That's I think the tip.
That's good.
That's
good.
The next
catch
day
the Z's so they can catch your hands.
Yeah, catch these hands. Yeah. So I think that would be it. Honestly, those are like 5 or 6 tips.
Yeah.
Like that's really important.
And
then that just takes away it really diminishes, really minimizes any of these like little outside, like not big factors, but accumulated together they would be a force to be reckoned with. So like it just minimizes those
by
little
these
things.
powers
like,
combined. What's
the phrase, like the little foxes
experience?
Yeah, what was that phrase with like? It's not the something, but it's like the little foxes that like attack you that like really do damage. I forgot. It's not even Smash related. I know.
I have absolutely no clue what you're talking about.
I'll comment it or tweet it out or something later when I find it. There's a phrase basically. It's like it's the little burrows. It's not like the big hole or something. It's the little things that like it's the death by 1,000 cuts type of thing versus and so I feel like I'm just gonna go with that analogy. It's the death by 1,000 cuts situation that we're kind of talking about here and how to minimize that. So the little distractions that you shouldn't even be really focusing on when you're playing, like they shouldn't be affecting you. So yeah.
Hopefully this podcast was helpful to you.
I sound like a doctor.
Yeah. Dr. M2.
Yup. All's cool. My initials are MD.
Yeah. MD.
Anyway. Sorry.
I hope this podcast helped you.
Yeah.
It definitely helped me organize my thoughts on the matter.
Mm-hmm. Same, actually. Yeah.
And thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah. This is M2.
This is Artie.
We signed it out. Yeah.